Now, I'm not going in order from the manual itself. I'm actually going to be talking about specifically the reading subtests, and then I'm going to talk about the different types of subtests within the reading composite, and then I'm going to be talking about written expression, oral language, and math. So if you think that I'm following along in the record form, or if any of you are following along in the record form, you might get lost. I'm just going to be talking about the test itself. The word reading subtest is actually toward the middle of the record form. And you start off with saying, I want you to read these words aloud. Now, this test requires you to have an audio recorder, and the reason why is so that you can record the students and really listen later on to see how the students are doing. Students are told to read words aloud, but not to read as quickly as possible. They can use their fingers if they like, and credit should be given for regional or dialectical pronunciations, rather. Administration requires the recording of the students' responses for later reference. And this test, you just really say, start here and read across this way, and there's a stimulus card that you hand to the students. The discontinue and time rules are all right there on the page. With regard to pseudo-word decoding is another subtest under this reading subtest. Students are told to read the words of nonsensical words, and pseudo-word decoding is designed really to measure speed and accuracy of decoding words. And you just say, I want you to read some words that are not real words, but read them as if they were. In my experience, children sometimes have a lot of trouble with this, and adults too. I've had adults really look at it and say, that's not a real word, or they try to make sense of the nonsensical words, which is kind of funny. It's just, you can repeat the instructions and say that the words are not real words, but read them as if they were. And you're really just trying to figure out, can the person decode the words? So for reading comprehension, the test measures exactly what it says it measures. It measures inferential reading comprehension skills. You can start with one set lower if a student is known to be a really poor reader. Otherwise, use the reversal rules as much as possible. And with this, the reversal rules are a little tricky. For reading comprehension, actually starts on page 10 of the record form. And you say, I have some stories and passages for you to read. You can choose to read them aloud or silently. After each one, I will ask you questions about what you have just read. The start points, pay attention to the start points with this subtest, because the start points and the stop points are directly related to the individual's grade level. And so you have to make sure you're on the right start and stop point. And there is no real time limit. You just need to allow sufficient time for the person to respond. You can reverse only to a maximum of 3 levels below the grade level. So if you have to reverse and you keep on going back to different start points rather, then after you've gone back 3, go ahead and discontinue the test. Also, word to interpretation: if the student performs poorly on lower items, this probably means that they have a weakness in specifically reading comprehension. But if the student performs well on lower items, it probably means that they have a weakness in word identification or decoding and or vocabulary. So that's just something to bear in mind. Oral reading fluency is a great test. You can start 1 grade level lower again if you need if you know the person that you're testing is a very poor reader. Otherwise, just use the reversal rules. And this test, just like the last subtest, has different start and stop points. So make sure that you're looking at the right grade level. I can't tell you, it's funny when you're doing testing with someone and you totally forget what grade level they're in or what their age is. So it's important to make sure to note what their grade level on the very front of the record form. When you're filling out that record form in the very beginning, you put the demographics and such. So make sure you put that there so you can always refer back to it if you need to. This test has some interesting item set reversal rules. If reading time exceeds the reversal time limit, it says, on the first passage of the item set, go back 1 start point and continue administration. The reversal rule may be applied to a maximum of 2 times, and don't go back more than 2 start points for the grade level. Oral reading fluency, this subtest also has a huge amount of administration and scoring notes for recording. Specifically, if additions are made, if substitutions or omissions are made, if transpositions are made, you're supposed to make note of that on the record form itself, because all of that factors in. And the administration rule for this is, or the thing that you're supposed to read is, I'm going to give you some stories to read aloud, then I will ask you a question about what you've just read. Be sure to do your best. And there you go, I just said that. Keep track of and record word addition errors and other wording errors, word reading errors. So you're going to be doing a lot of work with this particular subtest. So if you're not familiar with this test, the WIAT, or specifically the subtest, make sure you administer it to a friend, a coworker, maybe your significant other. I'm just kidding. But do practice administering it a couple of times before you administer it to a real live subject.